something about the reopening of the testing site. Would you like me to do that under the COVID-19 report or under the administrator's report? This is our new staff person right here.
Good morning, everybody. We're just going to take a quick minute to let everybody get into the meeting, get themselves settled, and then we will call things to order. Okay. And we will begin recording momentarily here. Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting. We are calling things to order at 10:03. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And say after us, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. We will not, no, I'm sorry. All right, at this time, we will accept any public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda. We do have Mr. Mullen who would like to make a comment. We will allow anybody, including Mr. Mullen, up to 5 minutes to make their comment, and we would recognize him at this time. Good morning, Mr. Mullen.
Hello, my name is Kevin Mullen. I'm a Patton Township homeowner for 21 years and a Ferguson Township homeowner for 9 years. And my concern is with the UAJA wastewater utility around for State College area, 4 townships in the borough. I think they've been overbilling me and other people, but especially me, for many years. And I set up a website which I would like everyone to look at to see what they've done to me and what they've done to other people. And I want to tell the public and warn the public and tell the public about this concern. My website is statecollegereport.com, statecollegereport.com. And if there's any media there, like the newspaper or the TV channels, they're welcome to contact me, or anyone can contact me through that website if they want to do a story on that issue. And if you've seen that, if you looked at my website before, I'll be glad to answer any questions that any of you have. My concern is that they treat State College Borough differently than the 4 townships. They have different billing policies and different billing rates. And I can take any questions you have about that, but that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mullen, very much for your comments today. We appreciate them. I do not have any comments. If I don't think anybody else may have any comments. I didn't see anybody else signaling that they would. But if we do have comments or any questions, we will be sure to go to your websites again, statecollegereport.com. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mullen, very much. Is there any other public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda at this time from anybody else in the audience? Okay, seeing no one else, we will move, and we should actually say that we will need to table the minutes. They're not quite finished from Tuesday, December 29th. So we would look for a motion to table the minutes from that meeting to next week until the 12th for approval.
Motion to table the December 29th meeting minutes until next Tuesday's meeting.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay, we head into our COVID-19 planning and response at this time section, and we will turn it over to our administrator, Margaret Gray. Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning. Thanks very much. I'm pleased to announce this morning that the COVID-19 testing site operated by AMI Healthcare has reopened at the former Bontown location at the Nittany Mall. The hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and the site is open 5 days a week, Tuesdays through Saturdays. You may recall that we mentioned in a previous report that the site may not be at the Nittany Mall for the entire 4 weeks of extension. That is accurate. The Bontown space and site will be operational for the weeks of January 5th and January 12th. We are identifying an alternate location for the weeks of November 19th and November 26th. But again, the site reopened this morning at the former Bontown site at the Nittany Mall, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and the days of operation are Tuesdays through Saturdays. Also on the topic of testing, I wanted to share that the commissioners allocated a release of funding to Mount Nittany Medical Center last week with an allocation of CARES Act funding for the purpose of assisting Mount Nittany with costs associated with testing and other COVID-19 related equipment and expenditures. So wanted to just make that announcement as well. It's another opportunity and option for residents in our county to receive testing through Mount Nittany Medical System. So that's my report this morning, and I'll leave it there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Margaret. We will move into a presentation, and the Board of Commissioners took action last week on this grant to approve the acceptance of it, but we're excited to have our Human Service Administrator and Director of Mental Health here in Center County to discuss a little bit more about what this grant means and the next step forward. So good morning, Natalie, and we'll turn it over to you.
Morning, Board. So I'm pleased that we can discuss this today. So as the board knows, on December 15th, we came to you requesting the opportunity to apply for a SAMHSA grant, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, our federal entity, for a grant opportunity, technical assistance. The title of it was Building a Competent Crisis Care System for Intercepts 0 and 1, which to us in life is our 911, Lifelink, and law enforcement. And so our EMT response. And so we quickly put together an application for this grant. It's a nationwide grant that would provide technical assistance from January through July for a group of stakeholders in your community that you could identify, including the law enforcement, emergency response, your crisis providers, as well as your MHID office. And so we quickly put together the application, and we received support letters from the entities that we needed to do it. And it's pleased to announce that we have been accepted into this grant. According to the grant proposal, they were choosing 5 jurisdictions across the country. And so for Center County to be chosen is great opportunity for us. It builds upon the work that we do every day when it comes to assisting people in crisis in our community. It builds upon the work that the task force had recently completed and made recommendations to. And it's hopefully for us, what we will hope to gain from it is that expertise. You know, we are looking to look at how we enhance our crisis system, how we enhance communication, how we enhance our training. And by being able to have the experts at our immediate disposal to be able to do one-on-one meetings with them, to have the opportunity to talk both Pennsylvania law as well as nation law, it's giving us that condensed opportunity over the next 7-8 months to really provide that. And so our hope is by being able to come out of this, we have opportunities to develop further strategies. Is it different ways we communicate? Is it potential for services that we develop in the future because of it? All of those things, all of those training opportunities that we believe that we could enhance upon is the hope that we all bring to this opportunity. And so with the acceptance that the board did last week for us to accept the grant from SAMHSA, we are now in that starting period of scheduling meetings. So we will be doing a meeting with the experts or the team from SAMHSA and TAC earlier in January. And that will probably be myself. So Tracy Small, who's our CIT coordinator, will lead this as well. Being able to have our CIT steering committee as we do, that includes the entities that need to be involved. We have a platform. They're very precise in the grant, about 10 to 15 participants. And when it's small, they want people there that have the experience and know what's going on day to day to be able to learn from and for us to take their knowledge. So we're using that steering committee since it includes all of our law enforcement across the county, as well as our 911 center, as well as the EMTs. We thought we could start with an already based group and work from there. And so that Tracy Small will really help lead that. She'll coordinate that. She'll be able to dedicate the time to this that we need to bring it together. And so then probably beginning in February, we will start our sessions with them. And those sessions will run anywhere from every week to bi-weekly to monthly. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of opportunity for us to learn and really kind of take this approach that we think is really our next step to kind of have this expertise, come into Center County and to look. And we feel that we obviously made a grant application that made them consider that this community is ready for this and wanting to change and wanting to enhance the opportunities that we have here. And so we are excited for it. I, again, as I did before at the previous meeting, would like to thank our advisory board members who brought this to our attention. The MHD advisory board, sent this, and we had an 8-day turnaround. So again, the Service Access Management Center for Crisis, Community for Crisis Services, Michelle Henry in our office, all very quickly put together what we needed to do for this grant. But for Center County to be chosen really shows that we are a community ready to continue to take down the path of what we need to support our community. So thank you for approving it last week and letting us move that along. And we will be looking forward to starting this and seeing what it brings to our community. So that's
Okay. But thank you, Natalie, and congratulations on receiving this. We're excited to see the work that'll be continued with this grant. Any other thoughts, questions on this? We've already taken action on it, so no action is needed, but happy to have any discussion on this.
Just wanted to thank Natalie, her staff, and all the stakeholders who came together over an 8-day period to put together the grant application. Wonderful job. Thankfully, this is not the only occasion where our human services departments and even other departments in the county have reacted to federal and state grant opportunities within a matter of days. Generally, every year I see us bringing in an extra couple $100,000, sometimes even an extra couple $1 million of state and federal grants through the quick action of county staff and other organizations we partner with. So thanks again. I know we'll use these funds well. Thanks.
Natalie, great job. Congratulations to you and your team. A 1 in 5 chance is pretty remarkable when you look at it from a national standpoint. So just want to say thank you and look forward to doing great work in the future.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? Anything we wanted to offer on that from the public? Okay. Seeing nothing there. Again, Natalie, thank you very much. We will move on to our resolutions. We have resolution number 1, and this would be authorizing our administrator, Margaret Gray, and Chief Clerk, Margaret Gray, to the authority to execute financial documents not to exceed $10,000 on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. We've done this for the last several years. This allows us to be more expedient in our Board of Commissioners meetings, and any contract that we have budgeted and put the money towards it in the approved budget or amended budget, or if approved in public session, Margaret could then execute on our behalf. And in addition, one of the things we talked about through the pandemic, which was very necessary from my standpoint, was if there was an expenditure that she needed to make on behalf of us, that does not exceed $10,000, that she could do that from our contingency fund, and then at the next public meeting report that she had done so, instead of us having to wait until we have a meeting, approve that, go from there. So again, we have very limited funds in the contingency account this year due to tightening our belts across the board. But this would give Margaret another way to just take care of the business of the county without having to delay due to the natures of our meetings. So that's also included in this resolution for our consideration. So I'll stop there and we can take any questions. Okay. Hearing no other questions, discussion, would there be a motion to add the resolution to next week's consent agenda?
Oh, excuse me, motion to add resolution number 1 of 2021 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay. And then resolution number 2 of 2021, Margaret, we can turn that over to you, I believe.
I believe that we have Mitzi Gallagher on the line with us this morning, as well as Ray Stalinas. And I think I'd
Great.
like to ask her if she might want to introduce this, since it involves our Community Development Block Grant Program.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. This is the resolution to apply for the competitive funding for the Ahrensburg Municipal Authority project. This is a requirement of the CDBG process, where we've had a first hearing and then a final hearing, citizen participation comment period. And then this is the step of the official county resolution to state that you would like CDCOG to go ahead and submit the application on behalf of the county.
Okay. Thank you, Mitzi. Any comments, questions on this? We've talked about this for quite some time, and I think this is one of the last steps in terms of in the application process. But in terms of once we've applied or submitted this, Mitzi, is it essentially where we just await word back from the state of whether or not we've been awarded it?
That is correct, because it is competitive. It will depend on how many other applications they receive. The state has told us they have just slightly over $4 million total to give out for the competitive project. So it will depend on where the application ranks and how many other projects are applied for.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions?
I'd just like to say that,
please.
well, yeah, there's one thing for the folks out there that maybe are not familiar with the community development block grant process. We are allocated a certain amount of dollars annually to distribute throughout the county. And then these are truly competitive dollars that are very tough to get, that with the help of CDCOG throughout the course of time, we've been very, very successful in funding a lot of particularly water and sewer infrastructure projects throughout the county. And I just want to put a big shout out to CDCOG for their ability to gain access to those funds previously, and we're looking forward to continued success with this one as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your help on this, Mitzi. I know these rural water authorities, money's always tight. The things always wear out. Sometimes they need to find new water sources, and the CDBG money is critical to their survival. So thanks for your help with this.
Sure, it's a great project.
And one last comment, a lot of times DEP has consent decrees that, there really isn't a whole lot of time or a whole lot of conversation about whether or not you're going to be doing the project. It's a matter of we need to get it done, and this is essential, particularly to a lot of these smaller communities that don't have the financial resources to do it any other way.
Okay, any other public comment on this? We should note, as Mitzi said, we already had 2 sessions on this, so this would really be more of just a administrative action at this point. There's really nothing that we can do to amend the project itself at this point, but we would offer that opportunity regardless. Okay, hearing none, would there be a motion?
Add resolution number 2 of 2021 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
It has been moved and seconded to move the CDBG program application to next week's consent agenda. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay, thank you very much, Mitzi. And I think we're gonna stay with you and Ray in terms of our grants, discussion of those.
Good morning, Commissioners. The next 3 items that Mitzi has on the agenda are related again to the Ahrensburg Water Well Rehabilitation Project, and these are critical forms that need to be signed as part of the grant application. So I'll let Mitzi add anything that she may want to
September 1st.
These forms.
Thanks, Ray. These are just your general application forms. There's several pages that go to an application. These are the 4 that require, or 3 plus the resolution, that require Commissioner Pipe's signature. There's a disclosure report, a 4-factor and certification report, and then the general application certification.
Okay, all right. Any other feedback, comments, thoughts on this? Okay, we look to move the 3 items to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to move the 3 planning department items to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank
motion
you.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Mitzi. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Okay, moving into our contract section, we're going to stay with planning and keep it with Ray.
Sure, thank you. We have our annual review of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Center Region Planning Agency and the Center County Metropolitan Planning Organization, along with the Center County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Center County Planning and Community Development Office. The Center County MPO develops a unified planning work program. This one runs from 2020 to 2022 and identifies transportation planning and project development activities. And under this MOU, we as the Center County Planning Office agree to assist with the MPO and the Center Region Planning Agency on completing those identified transportation planning work tasks. The MOU establishes that the Center Region Planning Agency will seek reimbursement from Penndot for our staff time and any other eligible costs incurred by our planning office and other county agencies associated with the completion of transportation or special project development activities that are identified under the Unified Work Program. Article 1 of the MOU does list the eligible work activities. We have Ann Mesner as our county transportation planner that works heavily with the MPO and long-range transportation plan. And then our Article 2 of the MOU provides a timeline for reimbursement for these expenses, January 1st through December 31st of 2021. And also the MOU outlines contributions to the MPO. So I think that would be worth considering today as an annual review of the MOU between the parties that I listed.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Any questions on that agreement, MOU with the Center Region Planning Agency? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion?
Add the MOU with the Center Region Planning Agency to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Ray, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. This time we are going to welcome Joe Davidson, the Recorder of Deeds, to discuss a proposal for a recording notification service. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm here to ask the board for approval for this proposal with RBA Professional Data Systems to develop a recording notification system for alerting citizens anytime a document is recorded in the official records of the Recorder of Deeds office. And the proposal cost is not to exceed $9,885. And we're supposed to have this completed by April 30th, 2021.
Okay. Thank you very much. If you could maybe discuss, just so we're aware, Joe, of how you went about thinking about who could potentially do this software, if there are other vendors already on the market. I'm curious to hear a little bit about how you approach solving this issue.
Well, the issue came to light in other jurisdictions around the country and around the state. Deed fraud or property fraud is prevalent in most of the metropolitan areas. In Pennsylvania, it's quite, I don't know, quite is the correct word, but there's several instances of it in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. And typically, deed fraud involves blighted properties where properties are unattended for long lengths of time, and people acquire title to these properties fraudulently because they're typically not being monitored very frequently at all. And as you are all probably aware, we hear and see an increase in the companies out there that offer deed fraud protection or property fraud protection. And these inquiries in our office have increased tremendously in the last couple of months as a result of that marketing by those companies that offer you to notify you whenever there is a potential deed or property fraud. So there are several companies out there that are already providing Recorder of Deeds land records packages with this type of auxiliary protection that can be added to their softwares. And we looked at a couple of those by different vendors and got some other proposals. And typically they all require an annual licensing or maintenance fee. And I asked RBA to look to see if they would be capable of developing a similar type system for us here. And they looked at it and said, yeah, we're interested. So they came back with this proposal. And the $9,885 is the initial development cost. And as long as I believe that RBA is our IT provider, there would be no annual fee. So the way I envision this working is, if I could, Michael, for a second here, is for instance, there would be a website where Mike Pipe can go and register his name, and he would be alerted to any deed or document that will be recorded in the recorder's office under that name. So we would encourage you, of course, to register Mike Pipe, and then you'd also want to put in Michael Pipe, and you want to put in Michael R. Pipe, and you want to also put in Michael R. Pipe Jr. And up to 5 of those variations, you would want to, we would allow you to insert in that in that database. So if any one of those particular configurations were to match anything that was recorded in our office, you would get an alert that says, okay, Mike Pipe, we matched a recorded document in the recorder's office with that name. You can log on to Webbia for further information or contact the Recorder of Deeds office to get details. So that's where we're at. Any other questions?
Sure. Just
Joe, this is Steve.
oh, go ahead, Steve.
I just have one. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just curious as if somebody is involved in a fraudulent action, what's the process to rectify that? Do you go to a lawyer? Do they come to your office? What's the process if somebody is trying to commandeer somebody's property by fraudulent method?
Well, I'll use the example if a deed is recorded that's fraudulent. The first step would usually be to go to the courts and ask them for an order to make that document invalid or null and void. But I always tell people when we get inquiries here that are asking about how they can prevent the deed fraud, typically whenever we get the document here in the recorder's office, that the action has already been done and executed, and usually those perpetrators or the fraudsters are long gone. So at the time you'd get notified of this, the damage is already done. However, it is the earliest warning you could possibly have in that instance. Now, in my over 20 years as Recorder of Deeds in Center County, I do not know of a single incident of deed fraud that has happened here in Center County. But we're putting these measures and actions into place to hopefully, if it does happen, to help justify and rectify the situation as quickly as possible.
I guess my last question would be, so somebody has to sign documents, whether it be a deed or some sort of leverage on the property. So it's just as simple as them signing a document and saying, okay, now, and usurping a deed from one party to another. Is that how that works? I'm not even sure how this works, I guess.
Well, that's correct, Steve. In order for the fraud to occur, there has to be fraud on multiple levels. Number one, typically the documents prepared fraudulently by the grantor, some scrupulous party is forging the grantor's signature, and then another fraud has to occur in the notary, which notarizes that scrupulous fraudulent signature, and then of course the recording of that document itself.
Thank you. This is a pretty serious matter, and I'm glad that you're being proactive in dealing with it, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, fortunately in Center County, I think we're still small enough that if we see strange situations as far as notary stamps or I would say unfamiliar submitters, we tend to scrutinize the documents at a much higher level than we would if it was a frequent flyer, as we sometimes call them.
So,
Thank you.
So Joe, if I'm understand correctly, this new website or at least web page would not require somebody to be a registered Webbia user. Any citizen could just go in to the web page, register, and receive notifications without having to purchase a Webbia membership?
Correct. Yes, we would encourage them to look at the Webbia service if they needed further details, or they can always contact us.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was easy to use.
In the jurisdictions that have implemented similar notification services, it's The feedback and reports are that it is very easily managed and administered.
And Joe, just one final question from me. You discussed the fact that this does not come with an annual cost. And from what you said was due to the fact that RBA is currently our IT provider. If they would no longer be our IT provider, did they discuss how much annual maintenance would cost for this service?
No, I haven't gotten into that because I'm not privy to their contract, details and particulars about the overall scope of the other services that they're providing for the county.
Okay, I would say since we're moving this to the consent agenda for next week, if you would be able to just ask them how that fee would change. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty minimal, but it would be good for us to know before we approve this next week, finally, to see what that cost structure could look like. But RBA has created other standalone software solutions, most notably for the jury commissioner team, in order to send out notifications. I think to check people in as well. They've helped them out tremendously as well. And so we know that RBA can work on this and get a product done. So that would just be helpful for us in the long term before this. But to echo Commissioner Dershow's comments, we appreciate you bringing this forward to us, and we look forward to moving it to the consent agenda for approval next week. Go ahead.
Off-the-shelf solutions that we looked at, the annual maintenance fees were anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
the other vendors, not RBA.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so about $2,000. Okay, thank you. Would there be a motion to add this to next week's consent agenda?
Let me take my, there we, now I'm off of mute. Okay, so motion to add the proposal from RBA Professional Data Systems to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor
None.
say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Have a nice day, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
We have today's consent agenda in front of us. Would there be a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. We have, two individuals here on the ABC list. We have Ben Malone for an appointment, and we have Paul Morris, who would be being appointed to the General Authority and the Industrial Development Authority to fill the unexpired term that runs from the 1st of this year to the January 31st of 2023. So about a 2-year term there. Would there be a motion to approve these three ABC appointments?
Motion to approve the ABC appointments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. For our liquid fuels, we will turn this over to Margaret Gray at this time.
Thanks very much. 2 items for your consideration this morning under liquid fuels. The first item is approval to release a liquid fuels payment in the amount of $12,000 to Walker Township to replace existing pipe and also to construct head wall, install other piping, and repair a trench in the roadway. So this particular item is to release payment. The second item is requesting approval to submit a fee for local use application to Penndot from College Township for the Brush Valley Road Bridge Rehab Project in the amount of $78,000.
Okay, thank you, Margaret. Any questions on these?
None.
Would there be a motion?
Motion to approve payment to Walker Township and the submission of the College Township application to Penndot.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, thank you, Margaret. And we'll keep it with you for an administrator's report today.
No additional items this morning. My report was the testing site this morning.
Okay, thank you. We would then go into our check run. Do we have a check run, Commissioner?
I did not receive an email of a check run, Mike, but we'll always thank our foster parents and adoptive forever parents of all of the wonderful children in Center County. Appreciate everything they do for them. But yeah, no check run this week.
Okay, thank you. We have a voter registration report then. Commissioner Commissioner Dersham.
Yes, we do. We have 112,240 registered voters in Center County this morning. That's 46,899 Democratic registrants, 159 Green Party, 739 Libertarian, 15,726 no affiliation, and 44,642 Republican. Considering the 4,075 all other party members, that's up 39 voters from my last report. My feature small party today is the None Party, and the None Party has 1,796 registered voters. And the featured precinct of the week is Bellefonte West number 5, which votes at the First Presbyterian Church on Spring Street in Bellefonte. And in the general election, they had a total registration of 1,464 voters. There were 1,046 votes cast, and the percentage turnout at that point would be 71.45. The folks that make it happen in precinct number 5, okay, the judge of elections is R. Michael Prendergast. The minority inspector is Mary Prendergast. The majority inspector is Claudia Wilson, and the clerks are Carol Byrne, Amelia Kasdorf, and Julia Kasdorf. And we want to thank the First Presbyterian Church for allowing us to use their facility and all the folks that work so hard during the election to make it happen. So again, thank you very much, and that's my report for this week.
Thank you, Commissioner. We would want to announce under announcements that the offices of Center County Government, we will be closed on Monday, January 18th in observance, reflection, and celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Do we have any executive sessions to report, Margaret?
No executive sessions to report. However, the Board of Commissioners will meet separately at 11:30 today in executive session to discuss a legal matter.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have our schedule for the rest of this week. We would look for any questions from the press at this point. Looks like Marley or Chris, no questions from either of you at this point. Okay. All right. We would then look for a motion to adjourn at 10:43.
Motion to adjourn at 10:43.
I will second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Have a great day, everybody.